Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
I didn't want this to happen to me.
Standoff. A Fargo man is behind bars in Wisconsin. Officials say he gunned down 2 Milwaukee area police officers early this morning. 23-year-old Nathaniel Benton is facing 2 counts of attempted murder. He's charged with similar crimes in Cass County after police say he shot a man in the back of the head in downtown Fargo on Halloween night. Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Bailey Hurley spoke with that victim today. It's a story you'll only see here on Valley News Live.
I don't know, it's a miracle. I'm glad to be alive.
Nathan Crawford had no idea who Nathaniel Benton was when they ended up hanging out with mutual friends on Halloween night.
I didn't know he had a gun, and I certainly didn't think that he was going to shoot me when I had my back turned to him.
He says the group was playing Pokemon Go in downtown Fargo when he and Benton got into a verbal argument.
He's saying some pretty bad stuff, and I think I made him mad because I told him what I really thought about those kind of people.
Crawford says moments later, extreme pain shot through the back of his head, but says it took some time for him to realize he had been shot.
When he shot me, that feeling and just wondering, is it going to happen to somebody else that's innocent?
A 9mm bullet would later be removed from Crawford's skull, an injury doctors say should have killed him.
I have a second chance. So I'm going to do things to make other people have second chances, hopefully. I mean, I'm not on borrowed time. It just wasn't my time.
I was the first to tell Crawford of Benton's arrest Friday morning. In answered prayer, Crawford says he's been anxiously waiting for all week.
Well, I hope he pays for all of it to the full extent of the law.
Nathan Crawford is now on a plane to be with his family in Texas, as his gunshot injury has left him with a lot of rehab in his future and in need of support. Because of where that bullet went, Crawford's sight has almost completely diminished in his left eye, and he tells me while he can still see out of his right, it's extremely blurry. He also has a hard time standing and walking due to the amount of dizziness and instability he has. And of course, he tells me the amount of pain in his head is unbearable at all times. But despite all of these odds, he tells me the hardest part of this entire situation is having to leave Fargo, saying this is his favorite place with the nicest people. Andrea.
All right. Thank you so much, Bailey. More breaking news. Fargo police say an unresponsive man was found this afternoon at Island Park. Officers were dispatched there around 3:15 to Island Park. When they arrived, they found that deceased man. At this time, they don't believe the death is suspicious. This is an ongoing investigation. Just into our newsroom, take a look at this video. A 15-year-old boy is in jail after a wild crash causing major damage to a business in Horus. The Cass County Sheriff's Office says around 2 this morning they were called to the crash at Big Irv's Bar and Grill. Authorities say the 15-year-old was driving a stolen vehicle and involved in a police chase. That teen was taken to a hospital to be checked out. We don't yet know how badly he was injured. He's under arrest for possession of stolen property and possession of a controlled substance. New for you now at 5, bars and restaurants in Valley City will be closing at 11 starting on Monday. The move was approved by city leaders today, along with a mask mandate that will be in effect for a month. Starting Saturday, Grand Forks bars and restaurants will also temporarily be required to close at 11. This afternoon, we were in contact with Fargo Mayor Tim Mahoney, who indicated also that the city was considering a similar move. We're seeing temperatures all over the board today. How warm you got depends on where you live. Let's get more on this evening's forecast from Summer. Hey, Summer.
Hey, Andrea. We have a very colorful temperature map today, and we definitely did have that very wide spread in temperatures all throughout the afternoon. 36 degrees right now in Devil's Lake, and these blues all indicate 30s. Meanwhile, we're 53 in Fargo, 42 in Grand Forks. Take a look down to the south, 71 degrees in both Sisseton and Watertown. And that's because we have a frontal system moving through. We have seen an increase in clouds all day long, and we'll continue to see increasing thicker cloud cover throughout the rest of the evening. In terms of that frontal system, right where you see those lighter calmer winds is where we're seeing that frontal boundary. And once it pushes through, our winds will turn more northerly like they have out in Minot and increase a bit. We could see a few gusts into the 20s throughout the rest of the evening. Your Fargo hourly planner, sunset was just a minute ago, 5:03 p.m., and temperatures will be quickly falling into the 40s for the rest of the evening. Similar trend in Grand Forks, but temperatures falling even quicker into the 30s by around that midnight hour. So a little bit of a chillier evening ahead of us, but enjoy these temperatures while we still have them, because I'm talking about some big changes that we could see on the way, especially as we start off next week.
All right, thanks, Summer. In Bemidji, police are asking for your help finding a stolen vehicle. Officers tell us they got a report of a stolen vehicle on Wednesday. It's a 2014 black Ford Focus. The license plate number is 540RDV. If you have any information, go ahead and contact Bemidji Police. A North Dakota man was killed by a semi hauling cattle in the Southern Valley. The State Patrol says the 90-year-old driver stopped at a stop sign at highways 13 and 32 east of Gwinner around 6 last night, but did not yield when turning. The semi-driver braked and swerved to try and avoid a crash, but still hit the pickup driver. His name is expected to be released later this evening. A 66-year-old man from Kensington, Minnesota is dead after police say he ran a stop sign in Douglas County and crashed into 2 other vehicles. It happened last night around 6 at highways 1 and 27, about 15 miles west of Alexandria. State troopers say the victim's vehicle hit one pickup and then a second one. Those 2 drivers were not seriously hurt. Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden has taken the lead in Georgia and Pennsylvania, positioning him on the cusp of winning the White House. The margins are razor thin, though, and NBC has not yet called either state or the other 2 critical background states. But Biden's campaign says they are confident. Sarah Doloff has the story.
The stage is set in Wilmington, preparing for a possible event at Biden-Harris election headquarters. The campaign hoping to close in on a White House win. Joe Biden said to be relaxed and reflective as he watches the returns, vowing Thursday every vote will be counted.
In America, the vote is sacred. It's how people of this nation express their will.
Biden now leading by growing margins in Pennsylvania and Nevada, razor-thin margins in Georgia and Arizona. In Georgia, the Secretary of State says it's so close they are likely headed to a recount.
Out of approximately 5 million votes cast, we'll have a margin of a few thousand.
A top Biden advisor telling NBC the president's attempts to delegitimize the election are baseless and a sure sign he's losing. The final decision, however, could ultimately be decided in the courts. Still, the Biden campaign is growing increasingly confident as the final votes are tallied. In Wilmington, Delaware, Sarah Doloff, NBC News.
Biden is reportedly prepping to possibly address the nation tonight. An aide says that speech will focus on unity, healing, and coming together as a nation. Protests were held across the country today as tensions remain high as the nation waits for all the votes to be counted in the 2020 election. More than 100 President Trump supporters gathered in Raleigh, North Carolina, marching as they called on election officials to release official votes. State leaders there say that won't happen until next week. Trump supporters also demonstrated in Pennsylvania, demanding more transparency in the processing of ballots. Grand Forks County is reporting 336 new positive cases of COVID-19 today. That's the highest number a North Dakota county has ever seen in a single day. Cass County is reporting 239 new cases, bringing the total to more than 9,800 positive cases in the state. The state is also confirming the first case of multi-system inflammatory syndrome in a child with COVID-19. That child has been discharged from the hospital and is now resting at home. You can see all the COVID numbers on our VNL News app and scrolling at the bottom of your screen. NDSU's president is asking students to stay in Fargo over Thanksgiving break. In a campus-wide email, he says students are strongly encouraged not to travel home due to the COVID-19 outbreak. He cited the CDC's recommendation to avoid traveling, as well as any large indoor gatherings. The university will keep residence halls open throughout the break at no additional cost to students. UND is encouraging testing before traveling. Valley News Live is teaming up again with the Great Plains Food Bank for another virtual food drive. It will help families in need around the FM area. Every $50 donation provides 150 meals to those who need it most. To find out more, you can download our free VNL News app, look for the virtual food drive, and then click to donate. One app says it's got a pretty good idea what kids want for Christmas. That's next on Valley News Live at 5.
And we may not have broken any temperature records for today, but in Fargo, we were still 9 degrees above average, just 10 degrees shy of that record high. Grand Forks also above average for today, but no records were shattered. Coming up, I'll talk about a big cooling trend we have for next week.